Welcome, everybody. My name is Marilyn Burnett. I am your astrologer, back with the messages for the week of September 30th, 2024, which does include quite an intense eclipse. I will cover it briefly here, but you want to go watch my video, which I'll include the link at the end of this recording, where I go in depth. So I will touch it briefly here, but I'll do the breakdown by sign in the separate video, which is actually already posted. So you can immediately go watch that after you watch this. But I still want to cover the week ahead energy because the eclipse is the star, yes. However, there are lots of things still going on. And everybody keeps asking me the same question. When will it end? I'm like, 2025 is still my answer. We still have work to do. And it's all very interesting. So please follow me, like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel because then you get to hear all the incredible details every week. And be sure to go out to my website, marilynburnett.com, where I have all of my free resources for you, including all of my written articles about the upcoming month of October, of course, this new moon solar eclipse. All of the details are broken down there, and it's good to check in on all of it because I always seem to pick up a little bit of a new bit or piece of information. I don't just repeat everything exactly the same in my videos as I do in my written dialogue as well. So be sure to check that all out. And of course, check out my special offers. I have a really nice discounted rate for an eclipse reading. And we're still in the energy of the eclipse, including the full moon lunar eclipse that we saw a couple of weeks ago now, right? And this new eclipse, which the energy can literally carry on for the next 6 months, right? But it's really most intense over these next 2 weeks. So it's a great time to get settled into what's going to be going on for the rest of the year and take a quick look at the eclipses because they're shifting in 2025 into new signs. Lots of things are shifting in 2025, and keep watching as I'll prepare a video to give us a sneak peek into the changes that are coming that are unlike anything that we've seen in our lifetime because of the fact that these outer planets are all changing signs at the same time, and that's incredible. So as a collective, big changes are on the way. All right, with that, thank you for your patience. We will get started with the breakdown with Monday, September 30th, which is the last day of September. We are into the fourth quarter of the year, and I can't believe it's holiday season. This is incredible. Now, on Monday, I always tell you, if you've been watching me, that the bolder the energy, the stronger the impact we're going to feel. And so on Monday, and I have it set up at the perfect time, miraculously, we are seeing this energy with the moon in Virgo, speaking in harmony with Mars in its home sign, right? The moon rules Cancer. Now, Mars doesn't love being in Cancer. It has to deal with its emotions, right? Or feelings, or consider other people's feelings. And it doesn't like that. So I always say Mars in Cancer is kind of like a spoiled brat. So you have to be careful with your own feelings, the feelings of other people. Maybe don't hold people to such a high standard while they're not feeling like themselves. Plus, we're going to have a retrograde. Mars is almost in its pre-shadow through Cancer and Leo. But today, Mars gets a little help with how to feel because it's being supported by the moon in a grounded energy like Virgo. So this may be a little bit of a welcome relief. Also helping try to control Mars, which again, Mars isn't going to like it, but is Saturn in another watery sign, Pisces. So that puts these two in a trine to one another. Now, when Mars and Saturn work together, one's the gas, one's the brakes, one's the clutch, one's the gas. You heard my story a million times, I'm sure. Then you can move things forward at just the right speed. So whatever you're guided to do on Monday, don't rush it, right? Don't stay stuck either, because this opposition between the moon in Virgo and Saturn is where you feel the tension and you know you need to do something, but you're not quite sure exactly what. And then you have Saturn and Mars talking together saying, here's what it is. Here's what you need to do. And since both of those, all three of these really have to do with our intuition, slow down, tune in, and listen to how you are being guided on Monday. It may be what sets you up for the eclipse activity. And speaking of eclipse activity, on Monday is also Mercury Cazimi. So Mercury's getting fried on Monday by the sun. And it could be a moment. I like that this is the number 7 energy because it also causes you to go within and reflect. And, Mercury rules the mind. And Libra energy, where these both are sitting, is all about balance. And so if you think about this Cazimi moment, of course, for some, it gives us great aha moments where we finally have clarity, which is good because during an eclipse, you need clarity of what it is you need to let go of, what you need to learn so that you can move on, so you can get back on the fated path that you're meant to be on and you've somehow taken a detour. But if you don't like the intensity, if you don't like the explosion, right, of energy in your head and in your mind, that can feel overwhelming. So again, this is why you have to find what brings balance into your life. How do you get your thoughts under control, right? Well, you literally need to stop them. If they are running off with you and your imagination and creating things that are make-believe and have not happened yet, or they happened in the past and there's nothing you can do about it. It's done. Let it go. That's the best thing you can do with Mercury Cazimi energy on this day, on Monday. Tune in, listen to your intuition. Is it real or not? If it's not real, let it go. If it is real, face it and deal with it. But stand your ground. This is not about people pleasing. It's not about giving your power away. It's about standing up, right? The North Node that creates the tension between this Mercury Cazimi moment, right? This karmic moment. It should be so eye-opening as far as the collective even goes. It's going to be a very interesting week. So, will justice be served? Will somebody get out of a situation because what they thought was justice isn't? It's this going to be an intriguing day. But the answer always is between the South Node and the North Node, this perfect balance of maintaining your independence within the relationships, within the business partnerships, within the contracts that you're a part of. They have to be fair for both of you. And if one party or the other is not being treated fairly or not treating the other person fairly, that's where karma comes in and does some adjusting. So, aha moments, craziness, all are possible on Monday. But if you tune in and listen to your intuition, this Mars, Saturn, they're going to show you the way forward. So, just a little intensity to start off the day. And then just a reminder, this is a long sextile that we'll want to start paying attention to how Jupiter in Gemini and Chiron in Aries are partnering up. What are they doing together to help us heal, to give us information on healing, to teach us how to stand strong? Lots of information should start coming to the surface now. All right. That is Monday. So let's move us ahead to Tuesday, which, drum roll please, is October. Yay. Okay. Officially, this is fourth quarter, right? This is the fourth quarter. If you think about this as a football game, this is it. This is the one that matters, right? This whole year is going to mean what it was supposed to mean. You got to show up and do the work in the fourth quarter, right? The whole score, the whole previous 3 quarters just comes down to this. So as we kick off this new month, I always say rabbit, rabbit. If you read my articles, I always say rabbit, rabbit on the first of the month as well. And it's a way to set your intentions for abundance, right? A rabbit is a symbol. That's the word I'm looking for, is a symbol of abundance. And why we say a rabbit foot also brings us luck, right? So rabbit, rabbit. And moving on. We still will see the connection between Mars and Saturn, but Mars is slowly starting to move on, but they're still close enough in the connection. You still see Jupiter talking to Chiron. And on this day, you see the moon speaking with Uranus. And you know, I don't always talk about the moon because it moves every 2.5 days. It's always busy, it's doing something. But when it talks to Uranus, and it's a positive, right? It's a trine, this triangle in the blue line, and it's exact 26 degrees. It means as we start the day off, as we start this month off, we could have some emotional surprises. Now, a surprise doesn't have to be bad. It's just something that's unexpected, some kind of an emotional event that could be associated with money, right? This is Taurus and this is Virgo, both earth energies that have to do with money. Virgo is a healing energy, right? Uranus is surprising, innovative. Taurus is beauty. So this might be a good day to just go get a massage, right? Just try to relax and lean into this energy in a nice and positive way. All right. Not a lot new going on Tuesday. What you'll notice is Mercury has moved past its cazimi moment, but it's not going far. So that's why I say whatever we're set up for on Monday, this big aha, there's more to see with the eclipse. So speaking of that, let us move to Tuesday, which is when we have the eclipse energy. And let's see if I can get this to move. I'll move us closer to the eclipse time, which is close enough to here. All right. So whenever, of course, the sun and moon come together, that means a new beginning, right? Just like Mercury was cleansed in its fire bath of the sun, so is the moon, right? So the moon's our emotional self. It's what we need to feel safe and secure. And so each month we have a new opportunity to explore what does that mean from the perspective of this new sign. And this sign is Libra. So if I want to set intentions for a new beginning as far as relationships are concerned, I don't want to do that at this time because it's an eclipse. And whatever you try to do at an eclipse, eclipses it out, right? So if you're going to set any kind of intentions, I always caution my clients to just work with the actual energy, which is eclipsing out what doesn't serve you. Look at the house and look at the sign, right? So what doesn't serve me as far as relationships? Is it my mindset about the relationship? Is it the person I'm in the relationship with? And in the 9th house, what about my belief system is keeping me from having a successful relationship, right? Those are all things that you would want to focus on. And then we add in the fact that Mercury's conjunct both the sun and the moon. So Mercury rules the mind, it rules communication, right? There's written documents, legal documents that, again, information about legal issues is going to come to the surface and get exposed. From the collective perspective, from any kind of business partner perspective, there's something about justice and balance that is going to be exposed in an incredibly shocking way, is just one of the examples. I've also said there could be shocking relationship information. There's so many possibilities, right? There's never one way, and it always depends on your chart and what's happening for you. But from a collective's perspective, those topics of justice and relationships and business contracts, marriages, divorces, the truth is coming out in a big way. Now, that, of course, is all weighing against the North Node in Aries, which says, hey, you're supposed to come to the North, right? Come to the North, follow the light, and let go of this not so pretty stuff that's going on that has all to do with the past, and come to your future where you're strong and you're independent and you're choosing yourself. And because you choose yourself, other people will choose you. And then that's what brings a good relationship, because you are chosen for who you are, strong, not a people pleaser, right? When we're in people pleasing mode and people choose us, guess what they always expect of us? Please me, right? Do what I want. Worry about me. Me, right? And then you're stuck. And the other person doesn't want you to change because that's why they're with you. And it's just a never-ending cycle. So don't do that. Don't start there. We do have some tension squaring this new moon, this solar eclipse from Mars. And as I mentioned earlier, Mars is not happy having to feel things in the sign of Cancer that it doesn't want to feel, right? So, but it does force you to pay attention to your feelings and your intuition. And that is what helps you break free from situations that are not meant for you, do not serve you, and are not honoring you as an individual. So there's words, right? Mercury and Mars are having words. There's a conflict, but you got to express yourself and be clear, right? Here's what I want. Here's what I deserve. Not just what does the other person want or what does the other person think they deserve. It's not only about them. So you have to stand up for yourself. And that doesn't mean you have to cut the other person down to stand up for yourself. That just means speaking with a voice of authority in order to create the change that's needed and necessary to rebalance or completely end this relationship that no longer serves you. And where that relationship happens, that's changing, has everything to do with the house that this is showing up for you in. So you want to check out my other video where I do a bit of a breakdown by house. So that's anytime Mars again is involved, it's change that's noticeable, right? Mars is making things happen. So go with the flow. Don't try to fight this energy. Let change in and let it happen, because when we do that, we open the portal to what is meant for us. Now we do have helping energy going on at the same time, because that Mars energy that's motivating, boy, this is such a fun recording. I do not know why the energy has to feel like this Mercury retrograde is still going on, except this Mars conflicting with Mercury. It just is making it hard for us to think and speak. Electronics are being difficult. This is why we've got this square energy that we're already starting to deal with this week. So what it can do to help us, though, is as we start evaluating the changes that we want to make, Mars does speak in harmony still with Saturn. So that's why we need to go slow. It's okay to stop and think before you respond. Don't just respond emotionally. That's what Saturn's trying to help both this Pisces, Cancer, and Venus and Scorpio energies to do, is to control your emotions before you respond. And when you do that, that's where the reward is. That's the sweet spot. That's this grand water trine that is going on at the time of the eclipse that you want to pay attention to. That's why slowing down and listen to your intuition will be so important. And then out in the stratosphere, helping us behind the scenes, is still this mini trine with Pluto, Uranus, shaking things up, and Neptune, right? All the outer planets that are in retrograde motion, except for Jupiter, but that's coming shortly, so it's slowing down. there's a lot of forces at work here that we can't see, but they are working behind the scenes to create collective change. And some of that change is coming up now at the time of this eclipse. Okay. That's all I'm going to go through here. Again, if you want to know for your sign, go and watch my other video because I do a breakdown there. And maybe I talked about something else I didn't talk about here. I guarantee you it's not the same speech. All right, let's move to Thursday. All right. On Thursday, you are still seeing this grand water trine. This isn't going away anytime quickly. So again, it's there for you. You have to take advantage of it. Will you? Well, we shall see. As we move this ahead, we'll see that Venus starts to move closer to Saturn. Mars is starting to move away a bit, but they're all still connected. So that helps you. Jupiter is still connected and will be for a very long time to Chiron. But adding to that today is the moon still in Libra, right? So it's just come off of its eclipse event and it's starting to move forward. And the first conversation it has on its forward movement is this opposition with Chiron. So these wounds that you carry with you, what are you going to do with them? Right? Moon speaks in harmony with Jupiter. Jupiter expands on what it touches. And this way of thinking, your belief systems, your values, there's changes that are needed. Are you going to follow through? You saw the truth. Now what are you going to do with it? We have a moment to think about it here. The other thing about thinking is Mercury is, it's again, slowly moving away from the sun. This eclipse, this big aha, it's making a weird connection to Saturn in Pisces. So there again is some information coming up about a person in a position of authority and their past, because it's needed to help restore balance is one way that can show up for us. And as Mercury moves forward, it's going to continue its difficult conversation with Mars. So there's still words to be had based on what we are coming to understand. All right. So that is Thursday. And let's move ahead to Friday. Now on Friday, you see this exact connection between Venus in Scorpio, which is a woman in a position of authority, is working in partnership with an older man also in a position of authority. And they're emotional leaders, right? There's some kind of a commitment that's being made. Somebody's being instructed to do something. And when you listen to Saturn, especially somebody from your past, a past mentor, there is something that will help you succeed. There's a plan that you're given and you just have to execute the plan. So look for a woman, maybe she's a Scorpio, to do something important on Friday, to announce something new that will affect us emotionally in some way. Now, it's a positive connection, so it can be good news. Even though the eclipse can be a little bit of crazy, it doesn't mean we can't have good things happen at the same time. So that will be going on. And then throughout the day, Friday, you're also going to see that moon energy get closer to Venus as well. Now, the moon, as it's moved into Scorpio, this is not its favorite place. Venus doesn't like it here either. So she's almost like, oh, there's my friend, the moon. Yay. I get some company while I'm down here with Pluto in the underworld where nobody likes to be. It's dark, it's scary, and you have to face stuff down there. So let's move to the facing stuff, which is on Saturday. Now, emotionally, it's a big day, right? Because both the moon and Venus can be very emotional. In Scorpio, the emotions can be a bit intense. Some of them can be a bit dark. But again, we still have this grand water trine. That's why emotion That's what we manifest with. So when we have a grand water trine that goes on all week long, you got to tune in and you got to do something with this energy, with this opportunity. Do not let this week pass you by without making some kind of significant change. Repeat that. Don't let this week go by without making some kind of a significant change, right? And then the words are picking up in intensity as we have this Mercury square with Mars. So this could be an important relationship that is escalating in its battle. Two countries, two people, marriage partners, business partners. There's just still words going on this day. Then we're going to move forward and look at Sunday. And it's like, when I previewed this week, I was like, dang, there's so much going on and an eclipse this week. And just look at the chart on Sunday. It's completely lit up. So Sunday is still an intense day, which you would expect because literally the 2 weeks following the eclipse is everything being brought into the light, right? Because the moon is going to be lit up by the end of these 2 weeks, and then we'll have the full moon event that follows, right? And so in order for it to be illuminated, right, we have to be shown everything that we need to see so that we can conclude this at the full moon. So these 2 weeks are intense. It doesn't just end at the eclipse. I'm sorry, don't get mad at me. Just the messenger, like Mercury, speaking of messengers, that at least now, as it hits this 18-degree mark, it's starting to put a little distance between itself and the Mars energy. But still, there can be words on Sunday of this longest argument ever that seems like it will never end. Don't let that be you. It's not healthy. Then we have seen Venus and Mars continue in their sextile. So these are the lovers of the zodiac, right? When we have Venus and Mars speaking in harmony with one another, they are, combining the masculine and the feminine energy together to help you accomplish something. And of course, Mars is much happier in the sign of Scorpio, where Venus is, and Venus would definitely prefer Cancer over Scorpio energy. So maybe they help each other through this because they understand a little bit about how to use the energy that's available. But again, this can speak to some kind of a partnership that is helping us navigate all of these changes and somewhat disruptive energy. So we've talked about Mars. The other thing that could be a little bit weird today is the energy of the Sun and Saturn. So the ego self and this teacher, your mentor, they're not getting along, right? Saturn wants all the control, and the Sun just wants to shine bright. But Saturn's trying to dim the light of the Sun a bit, and it's not going well. So this adds to the weird, crunchy energy. But again, we have so much emotional energy available to us and so much creative influence too, that I always say if you're feeling untethered, probably the best way to put it, ground yourself through creation, right? Are you an artist? Do you like to work on projects at home? Do you like to redecorate? Do you like to plant? Work in the earth, right? Especially working beneath the surface when the moon's in Scorpio, you want to get down into the things that you can't see and work there, right? And then create from that place. Because the moon in Scorpio on Sunday does speak in harmony with Neptune in Pisces, a very watery energy. But again, it's all things that are beneath the surface. So this might be a great day, again, if you're feeling uncomfortable with all the emotional energy, to clear out your clutter, right? what is at the bottom of that pile on your desk? How long has it been sitting there? And why don't you just deal with it? Well, I don't know, because I might get around to that. I have it there to remind me to deal with it for 6 months, right? Clear it up. So being productive can be helpful. And the other thing, when the moon is in Scorpio at these later degrees, it's opposing Uranus. So that always can almost make you feel, again, like there's this undercurrent, like when all of the feeling comes back into your hands after you've been sleeping on it, and it just feels weird and uncomfortable. So what can I do to move it along, right? I can participate. I can move my hand. I can shake it, and I can get the blood moving back through it. That's the energy of whenever the moon opposes or is anywhere near Uranus, right? It just is like a little fire ants on our neurons, and it can feel really uncomfortable. So do something with that energy. Create and bring up to the surface anything that you need to deal with and release it. Okay. I think that is all of the things. Checks notes. Yes, that is all of the things. But it's not all of the things for next week. So we have so interesting energy, especially next week coming up on Tuesday. We're going to talk about this mystic rectangle and then these two oppositions that create this envelope. So on Tuesday, what will your special delivery be? There's some kind of major announcement, would be my guess, that is coming to the collective on Tuesday, October 8th, or somewhere right before or after that. So that one looks really interesting. So we'll talk more about all of that, of course, next week. So thank you for letting me be a little wacky, because it's going to be an interesting week. Thank you for working with me. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your ideas. I love all of it. I love engaging with you. So keep those comments coming on all of my different platforms. I do appreciate that. Thank you for liking and subscribing and sharing my work and going out to my website to check out all those free resources and tune in to my Libra hypnosis, right? That's about getting you connected to the ideal relationship. So you might enjoy that one. Make sure you download it so you don't get hit by the commercials too. That can be a little disruptive. Okay, I think that is it. We'll come back next week. We'll talk about our eclipse stories and see you on the other side. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week. Take care. Be sure and check out your weekly tarot card messages as well. Those, along with this astro lesson, are going to give you the big picture. Thanks again for tuning in. Talk to you next week.